All right, greetings everyone. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfail, and I'm joined today by Joey Anderson, aka Jador, and we are doing something that we were supposed to do 2 weeks ago, and we couldn't because we got sick, and then I had power outage, and then Joey got strep throat, and then Joey's Ethernet cables went out. So within a span of 2 weeks, we had a whole bunch of technical difficulties and health stuff that had us behind schedule on this. But today we're actually sitting down for the first time to map out the next leg of quest content and also scene descriptions, scene dialogue, and side quests for our point and click adventure game called An Adventurer's Tale. Now, if you don't know what this is and you stumbled upon our Twitch stream, excuse me, completely by accident, we are the Wandering Hermits, along with Chris, my wife, who's not in the room at the moment, and we are building this world behind me, which is the World of the Weave of the Void. You can see it behind Joey as well. It is a 5th edition tabletop setting. The books for that are due out June 1st, 2022, and there's also a point and click game called An Adventurer's Tale, which is set in that world, which is what we're focused on today. And there's also a book series like Dragonlance with chapters coming out twice a month. Everything is done through our Patreon, patreon.com/Wandering Hermits. Previous to this, we are the founders of Stormhaven Studios, which was developing the MMORPG, the Saga of Leucemia, now been rebranded to Embers Adrift, so you know who we are. We've been doing this for about 8 years now. This is our current project. Um, if you haven't already done so, you can download and play through the demo of An Adventurer's Tale on our Patreon page. I believe we launched that demo in November of 2021, late October, early November 2021, which is when we announced the official name. Previous to that, we were called Project Drummond. And if you played that demo, it's about a 45-minute long demo that takes place in a very specific section of this village called Marin's Rest. Now, from there, we had to build the rest of the village. That's almost, I think we're basically completed now at this point. The rest of the village it's mostly completed. It is completed enough to the point where Joey only has a few things that need to be done, which means it's time for me to step in and start working on the continuation of the main quest line, which means writing additional quest dialogue for the NPCs. I also need to write description text for the NPCs. I have to write scene descriptions for all of these scenes so that we have the items that are clickable and are interactable with, maybe quest items on the ground that we need to pick up. These are the things that we're going to be talking through today that I then have to go away and write up in a document so that Joey can take that dialogue and put it into the game. So that's what today's session is about, is us walking through the next few scenes. So the scene we're looking at right here is I don't have let me open up a document here actually, because I think off the top of my head, let's do this in the Wandering Hermits doc. Because don't we have I forget, I think it's in the Wandering Hermits doc, right?
We have a doc somewhere
That's
in
what I'm
one of
looking
them.
for.
I
I
don't
should have
remember.
opened this up before we started the stream and I herped and derped. Let's go to the Wandering
I
Hermits.
think it's Wandering Hermits because it's the scene description.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Prototype scene description. Yep, there's the document. So this is going to be
Because there's two
the
documents. There's that one, and then I think there's the dialogue one.
correct. So this is
Yeah.
we had signpost descriptions, so I'm going to need to add more to that. But right now we're calling this the sheriff's,
We need to come up with a name for this scene too.
right. Right,
Like,
I'm literally just calling it the sheriff's scene for now, and then I'll
yeah, yeah. I'm assuming it'll be whatever we name the sheriff. It'll be
correct.
like, yeah.
No, that needs to be a heading. There we go. The sheriff's scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the sheriff scene. Can we actually back out to show the prototype scene, or is that just so that people have a frame of reference? Oh, you're already at that camera. Okay, I see what you did. So to the left is the actual. Yep. So that's the prototype scene right there. So this is literally the next scene. If you've played the prototype at the end of the prototype at the northern end of the street, you can't walk any further. It just literally will stop your character, and I think it says you can't go any further in this demo or something like that. This is where it's opening up to in the next scene, is we're actually coming in. This is the very next scene that you would load into um, when you leave that first. So we've got the camera set up. This is the camera angle. So this is the sheriff scene. So we know we need the sheriff. Um,
Hmm.
and is he going to be outside or sitting on the steps?
Well, it depends. I assumed that he would be like sitting somewhere, and that kind of like what we did with the blacksmith, where you can see him, but then when you click on him, the camera's going to pan over to his own scene that I haven't built yet because we don't really know where we're going to put him. But like if we had him sitting over here somewhere, like where we could see him, then we could like pan over to like here or maybe here, and I see some things I need to fix.
Yep, yep. Don't look at that.
Don't,
No, nobody
uh,
saw that.
Nobody saw that. Um, that's what's fun about doing this is you see things that I'm not normally paying attention to. So we could have, I mean, we could have him over here. We could have him anywhere. We could even have him over here if we wanted, because we have all of this that we need to put something in too. I just left it open. I
I
mean, we
wouldn't.
could zoom the
I
camera
wouldn't
in
want
close.
him. I don't think he would be sitting in the sun. Is the problem?
That's what I was thinking. He'd be like sitting over here,
Can you see him
like
from the camera angle though?
ah, just messed up. Yeah, if he was, yeah, I could. I mean, I could move that stump. Um,
Would it be realistic to have him sitting on the steps of his abode, like
sitting
carving a
there,
stick or something, or
or
smoking a
he could
pipe?
be like. Or maybe sitting under these
That I
trees
like
in the
that. If
shade.
can we put him under the tree? If he could be sitting under the tree right
Yeah, maybe
there.
we could do like a little outside. Maybe
He's got
he's
a little
got like a little.
table.
Yeah, maybe he's got a little something over here. Because then we could literally like this could be the scene where you're talking to him. So like you walk in here and you're talking to him over here.
All right, let's do that. Let's put him there between the two trees. He's outside with a little picnic table. He's eating or drinking or something, and that's where he's hanging out. And then we can move the camera in for him. So
I
okay,
mean,
so
we could even do like an angle like this.
okay,
Nah, I
so
don't really like that. We could do whatever. But yeah, I like that. We could do like set up a little out. He's got a little outdoor something out here.
so we know we need the sheriff, and we also need a prisoner. Um,
Yeah, this guy right here.
so oh, these are actually already in there. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, just
Well, you know,
lots of placeholder stuff
so
till we get that fleshed out.
we know we need those two things. Um, and I'm trying to think about what I would need to put in this scene. There's the shed.
Well, there's this big tree, which on the map is a giant tree. I'm not sure what your plans were for that, but there's this giant tree. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's of importance or not.
I'm just writing things down that we could do descriptions of. So door to the
Shed.
door to the prison, the shed, the big tree, maybe that dead tree, lamp post,
We,
fence.
we need a sign.
Where do we need a
We need
sign at?
we need a sheriff sign.
Oh, we totally do. So we need a sheriff's sign post.
Which we need to find some sign packs because I don't really care for these
Do we,
places.
for the sheriff himself, is he going to be sitting? You might not know this yet, so I might not need to write this down yet. Are we going to have him sitting with like a little table with some food, like he's outdoors
We could
drinking and eating?
we could do yeah we could do that. We could have them sitting down like the guys at the tavern, just sitting at a table.
All right, let's do that. Let's have a little outdoor table. So I need to write outdoor table, outdoor chair.
So, so what I might do with this camera angle, I may zoom it in a little bit so so that we get rid of this. Just pan it in a little more because then the
Less greenery and more
yeah yes
house.
yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. So I think that's enough. Oh, and we'll need a Well, you're going to build those in anyway. You're going to have an icon or a tooltip so that when we hover over the next scene change, it'll
Yeah,
tell you to this zone, right? So we got to come up
yeah.
with the
This is
next scene.
the next.
I
And
think
if I
that's
think of
enough.
anything else, that's enough for a good start. Because if I think of anything else, I'll just add it and tell you, hey, I need a description for this, like we've done previously.
Okay, and I
Um,
might not. I'm going to start with the descriptions for everybody first. I won't worry about the dialogue for the prisoner or the sheriff just yet. I'll get you the descriptions. That way we
yeah,
can
that's
at
fine.
least be working on putting those in. Because
Yep.
that's a workflow for you, and then I can start working on narrative later. So, all right, what's the next scene?
Next one's this Crossroads here.
All right, Crossroads scene.
So, and I
So,
actually do have a different signpost that I want to use now, but for now that one's in there, so that's what we're using.
all right, so we definitely need signposts.
Yeah, because it's
We
gonna
need
tell us.
rocks in the center. There's a wagon right there, isn't there?
Yep, the wagon.
A small cart of hay. Are those two buildings part of the stables?
But you could do a scene. You could do a description here if you wanted. I don't know. I mean, we could have a person here. I have one there just for size reference more than anything.
Um,
I thought my building was too small, and then I put it there, and I was like, ah, that's about right actually for what I was going for.
yeah, we can have
So in this scene, we need description to the stables. We need a description, just a tooltip, and a tooltip going to the next crossroads. Tooltip going back to the sheriff's. We've got the
Oh, so
signpost.
do I need to put these tooltips down in here on the list?
No, as long as you give me names,
Well,
or
hold
I
up,
can
hold up. And I
help
need
come up with
tooltip
names.
for stable
Mm.
transition, tooltip for sheriff, transition, tooltip. Where does the northern path go?
This one just goes to this next crossroads section here, like literally right here.
Okay, well, I'll come up with a name for that one. Excuse me. My coffee's wearing off. So I need
And
signpost.
and eventually we'll have it. Right now we don't, but we're gonna flesh this out for forest zones, stuff like that. So at
Yes.
some
Eventually we'll
point
have
we'll
a
need.
south transition as well.
Yeah. Yes.
It won't be anything for now though. So
No.
I need signpost, rocks. I need the little wagon, the
Wagon.
outbuildings, and corral. I need a corral description. I
The thing,
feel
this
like
signpost would be cool because like you could put. This is where I envisioned you putting like, if you click on the signpost, you could be like, to the north is blah blah blah. You see in the distance, whatever. I don't know. That's what I envisioned on the signpost. But that's up to you. That's not my job.
well, are we limited by text or are you saying the first would be you click on it and it gives you the name, and then when you click past the name, you would then get the description,
Potentially, we can
and
do
then
that.
and then you click beyond. Let me put that in my notes.
And we can do everything we've done in the past with dialogue. I mean, it's.
I need to put a note in here about
I figured out the dialogue system pretty good. I mean, we can do some pretty elaborate stuff. Because remember, I mean, we can do like we did the whole store with dialogue. I mean, we can do
have
just about anything.
signposts go from name to this is what you see in the distance. So there are two dialog boxes to click through before you transition back to mouse clicker. Pointer, not clicker. And that's just a general note that we can have in there. His sparrow says it's missing sparrows. Okay, so that's that. Is this the stable scene?
Uh huh.
All right, hold tight. Because I can reuse the scene descriptions from the previous scene for those two buildings on the left and the wagon. Um, there's a pile of hay. Is that a pile of hay with a pitchfork?
Mhm.
All right, hold up. Stable scene. Reuse. Oh, you know what we need to do in the Crossroads is
Yeah, dude.
reuse any necessary from sheriff's scene because there's going to be some bleed over.
Well, yeah, and those things should already, like, if you could see it, and once the description's already been added to the
It shouldn't matter
item
what camera
itself,
angle.
yeah, you should be able to, as long as your character's not having to walk up to it, which that's on my end. I'll have to figure out the navigation and everything like that. Because, like, here, he should just be able to turn and look at the wagon and be like, oh, that's the same wagon I saw over there,
So it'll still show
or
the
whatever.
same tooltip that we assigned it from the previous scene because we're just
It should
all we're
show.
doing is moving to a different camera angle, not a different
All we're
scene.
doing is change. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, then I don't need to write that
So,
down.
and I envision, I mean, I want to buy horses obviously to put in
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
this, I'd like to maybe move out, but this is like a hitch and rail. I envisioned having like a horse standing here tied up to the hitch and rail, and
Hold
maybe a
up.
horse or two in the stables.
Where?
Right here, there's the hitching
Oh,
rail.
sorry, I was tabbed out writing. It's okay. Oh, so that's
Well,
a hitching rail. I need a description for the hitching rail for sure. Hitching rail.
and actually, I think in the camera angle you can see this broken wagon over here. Yeah, there's a broken wagon off to the right.
Can you see that? Okay, so
Yes,
broken
so I don't know
wagon.
if you can see the little,
I do now because I'm tabbed over. Broken
yeah,
wagon.
dead
What else do we got
tree.
here? Dead tree, stable doors, dead
Yeah, the stable
tree, stable
doors.
doors, stable corral, and then corral. Is there hay on the corral floor? It looks like
Uh-huh.
maybe.
Yep. And a water trough.
Okay, hold up. So I need corral, hay on ground, water trough. I think that should. Well, there's a stump there. I could do the stump. Are those mushrooms on the stump?
Yeah. Some stumps. Mushrooms. There's a wagon wheel leaning up against the.
Oh, look, wagon
And we
wheel
can
description.
like I said, I mean, I plan on adding, like, it'd be cool to have more stuff in here, but this is just, it's a good idea of what
Well,
we could do.
I mean, we're getting like 10 things per scene so far for me to write down, so it's going to be plenty of like places to stick Easter egg text and
Yeah, absolutely.
everything. Um, all right, what's the next scene from here?
The next scene from here is you go back to the crossroads, and then you go to this crossroads, which doesn't really have anything in it yet, because,
Where are we going
it's
from here?
from here you can choose to go that away, which is
That's
towards the bridge and everything,
that's towards the bridge.
or you can choose to go to here, which is then
The crossroad, which
where
is the.
you can go to the Venture Hall, you can go to the church, or you can go to the Hunter's Lodge
All right, so go
from here.
back.
Or and then I need to add I forgot all about I need to add the well because need to be in the description text for this plaza. It's the well.
All right, so
The
go
well's gonna be
back.
here.
I don't think this scene's gonna have anything in it other than transition text. So we have three.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, like
What would we?
we could add some stuff right here. You know what I mean? Like we could have maybe an NPC here. We could have something here. I don't know, but there's nothing in this scene, and I just left it empty because I was like, I don't know what to put here yet. So there
I'm
could
thinking we're
be
just.
something.
I don't think we're gonna put anything here. I think this will just be a pretty visual scene
Okay.
for people to have something here, and maybe if we think about something later on down the road. So for the meantime, we're gonna have transition to
Well, then I'll just put
crossroads.
like I'll just put like a garden here then, because that would be this house's
Transition
garden.
to. Can you turn me around the camera to? Okay, the southeast. Is there a transition scene here, or is it just going straight to the bridge?
There will be a scene right here.
Is this just a random house building?
It's just a random house. I assumed that we could put an NPC here and add a quest line or a breadcrumb something if we needed to.
So that's road southeast to creek.
But mostly it was just to show the road going down towards the creek so that you got an idea of where you were going.
And then the next northern scene from here is. All right, what do we want to call this? Crossroads. It's another crossroads type scene.
I assumed we'd call this like the plaza or whatever you
Well,
called it on the map.
this is well, technically the city square is where the right in front of the. So where are you putting the? You're putting the well right there in front of that rock, right?
Over here somewhere. Yeah,
So
I'll get rid
this
of these
this
rocks
is
and
the
flatten this out,
okay.
move the
So
fence so that it looks
this
like you
is
actually get.
the city square. I might call it something different instead of a city square. But okay, so going back to that previous scene, transition to crossroads, transition to road southeast to bridge, transition to city square. And then this is going to be the city
I suppose I
square.
I suppose I could put the well right here.
That's
I
what I
could
was just thinking. I was just thinking
I
if you
get rid of that rock and just put the well here and kind of change the road a little bit. That might work better. It's just put the well right here in the smack dab middle.
that's what I would do. All right, so let's focus on this scene for the moment. So we have um, that's the Hunter's
We do have
Lodge
a sign.
is
We do have a sign for the church right here, but
all right.
it's kind of far away, so we may have to add another like scene just for the church because the church is massive.
All right, hold up. City square scene.
All that tax dollars. I mean, what?
So here we have
And we need to
transition
change.
to
I need to try to pan this camera angle out a little bit because like this random dude over here. Remember, we wanted to have him. So I'll play with that camera angle a little bit.
hold up. So the first is the transition to road north, but we're gonna have to call it road south on this end. It's not a road when it's through town though. It's gonna be called a path, right?
Yeah, probably.
So transition to path south. Then we have the well. Then we have path to Hunter's Lodge.
Mm-hmm. To the left over here. Yep.
And then we have signpost for church. Then we have door to Adventurers
We'll need
Guild.
we'll need a sign for the Adventurers Guild Hall.
Sign
Whatever.
Adventurers Guild building. Church building. There's more than one, right? We got one's the barracks. Yeah, and one's the actual church. Okay, so we'll have. We could just use one scene description for both of those. Okay, and then we're gonna have a dude, sketchy dude, leaning up against. Is he gonna be leaning up against the Adventurers Guild or the other building?
That's how he is now. Is he's leaning up against it. Just
Okay,
kind of.
sketchy dude leaning up. Hang on, where am I documenting? I guess it's building in the shadows.
Over here. That's
Adventurer.
literally what I. Yeah, it's literally what I envisioned. I was just like, oh, I gotta put that
Psst. Hey, adventurer, you want to buy some watches?
in there.
Got prime watches, Rolex, baby. It's the best Rolex you've ever seen. $5. Ain't gonna find nothing cheaper than what I got. Um, I think that's all we need for here, because then we're going into
Did you get the well? Did you get the
yeah,
well?
yeah. Because
Okay,
from here, I
well,
feel like from here we would go into interiors. However,
yes.
we're probably gonna need some. Although I just thought about something. If we end up dealing with any church types, we're gonna need a scene transition closer to the church, or maybe not. Maybe it's just to one of the doors, and we go into an interior. Um, but I feel
I
like
was thinking it'd be cool to have a scene here, in my opinion, like a
I
dialogue
think you're
scene, just
right. I think you're
because
right.
I think it's super
But can
cool.
you see that guy from back at the city? Because I feel like that's
No,
far enough
I mean,
away.
you can that, but it's like really far away. That's why I was thinking maybe if we had another, like, not necessarily an interior scene, but a scene here. I don't know. It's the church is big. It's hard because like I don't know. I mean, we got pretty far away on the tavern though. Like, let's go back here. Because I mean, like the taverns. I mean, our main camera angle is all the way, here. And that's still not that far away.
1 second, I got some messages coming in. I had to check this. I feel like we could probably just, if there's a tooltip over that dude,
Mm.
that should be enough for people to then.
You're gonna be able to see. I mean, your mouse is gonna be able to hover over him.
Yeah, I feel like we're plenty fine. So let me put this down. So we need to have church person in center of two buildings. Because he'll need description and dialogue. Let me put these in bold so that I know which ones need prisoner, sheriff. Let me separate these two out because I'm gonna need descriptions and hang on, I'm doing some restructuring of my lists
Mm-hmm.
here.
You're fine.
Okay, I've got that. I got that. I got that. I got that. Is there anything else we need in the city square?
I mean, there's not a lot in it now, but yeah, anything we think of, we can just put it in there. It's not hard to add,
How are we
just
doing on
done.
time, by the way?
Oh, I just texted Faith and was like, if I run late, I'll probably just bring Chloe down here and stick a movie on for her. She's fine.
All right. Well, we're only at 9:22, so we still got plenty of time. So from here, what other exterior do we have? Just the hunter's cabin, right?
Yeah, the Hunter's Lodge, which we don't really have at the moment. Lots of
Well,
lodgy
let me just put
acid.
here hunter's lodge scene at
Got
the
like a little,
heading.
got a spit that they're cooking
Hunter embassy.
food over.
We've got a fire pit. Spit with what's he cooking?
Ew, man.
That's a stew. Spit with pot of stew.
It's Hunter. It's
Logs
Hunter's
to
stew.
sit on. Hunter's cabin.
It's no, it's Tinto stew, dude. He's totally
He's
cooking
cooking ten
Tinto.
toe stew. Oh, we're putting that in.
Uh,
Hold up. We're putting
we
that in. Pot of ten toe goblin stew. That's totally going in there as an Easter egg. Ten toe goblin
hmm
stew.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's epic.
Uh,
Okay. If you're still here, Sparrow, you'll be the yes, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Ten toe stew. Okay. All right. And then
does
we
that
need a
mean that's it?
scene out and a forest description. So let me go back to that. We need transition back to town square, and we also need general. Which we
So
could.
on the Hunter's Lodge, I don't know if you want to do a sign or if you want to just make the building the
The
description.
building will be the description, yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Because I don't feel like it would be an official like here's the Hunter's Lodge.
Right, that's
Um,
my point. It's just kind of a shack thrown out, which it's really fun the way you can, because it's not that far away from everything else, but like from here, you can't see it. So like, I mean, you can kind of see it off in the distance, but you have no idea really how far away it is. Little tricks I like.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, Hunter's Lodge, square,
What other
and then
externals do we have?
we got this
All
one,
right, hold up.
which
This
is
one. This is just going to be a transitional. Where is this? This is going to be path southeast to bridge. So this is going to be southeast to bridge scene. So this needs building description and then transition north description transition. Is the next south scene the bridge?
it's this right here. This would be. I have to look at my map. I believe this is the McPherson farm.
Hold up. We need to actually get a name for that before I write this down. You've got the, I don't know where my POI is at. Patreon project. Do I have the POI map here? Marin's Rest with POIs. Oh, that only shows the numbers. Or is it a document, I think, maybe?
I don't remember. You sent it to me as a.
Pretty sure I sent it as a document, which means I gotta
I
find that
think.
document
I was
now.
gonna say. I think you did. Yeah.
Marin's Rest POIs. Yep, it's a document. Is that the McPherson farm, is what you're telling me?
I think.
Hold up, I gotta go actually pull up that map again.
I was gonna say. I thought you had the map pulled up.
No, I shut the map down to pull up the document. I
I'm
gotta,
pretty sure this is the. I'm pretty sure this is the McPherson farm because the Kilkenny, or
this is up
whatever,
by the mill.
is the one that's got the mill and everything. So it's the next one.
I think we're actually. Oh, I see. I see how you did this scene. Okay.
Yeah, we're looking back towards the out of the village now.
That is number 7, which is McPherson Farm. All right, go back here. Transition to McPherson Farm.
And I need to put something right here. There's just a lot of big space. I don't know if I'll put like a storage shed or more trees here in the middle, but something needs to go in the middle to give this scene a little bit more life.
McPherson Farm scene. Title. All right, in this scene, we have the farm and the crops. Okay, so the farm building itself, the crops, and let me look
Bridge
at
over
my
here.
notes. Bridge in distance. I'm pretty sure my notes say operated by Davin's wife. We need to put Harriet McPherson. We need to put an NPC here just for description. Maybe she's working in the field. Harriet Harriet McPherson.
You have the woman in the field and then like the dude passed out over here in the shade.
Yeah, her Harriet McPherson, Davin McPherson. They're their names, right? Yeah, Davin. So we need those at least. They won't be any quests, but we can have dialogues from them. And then we have transition north, transition to bridge. Okay, next scene.
So this is where I put the Kilkenny house. Um, their barn and their mill are a little further up the way. So then you've got the bridge. That's how I did this one.
So hold up. So that's hold up. Go back to the no, the previous scene with the McPherson, whatever, Mc something farm. Oh, you completely changed the camera angle. So it's going to completely. That's why I was confused. I'm looking at this going, hold on, go back because um, I didn't realize that the camera was at that angle.
Oh,
So
okay, so this is north. That way's north. I'm
that's I
looking
was
north
because I was
now.
looking at I was looking at the POI map going, this doesn't look right. Like you're looking in the
You're like,
wrong
you screwed
direction.
up.
Yeah, I was literally getting ready to say something, but then I was like, I'll just let it fly because it's just it doesn't really matter that much. Now it makes sense. Okay, because you literally did a 180 with the camera angle
Yep.
for the McPherson farm. Okay, so now we're at here. So we've got the Kilkenny.
I wanted to try to get that boat in there, but I don't think with the camera angle, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get that because I want to be able to see the bridge too. I'd rather look at the bridge than the boat. Something like that.
All right, so this is are we calling this the bridge scene?
I would guess we need to come up with a bridge name, like the
Well, yeah,
such and
that's
such
that's what
bridge.
I'm going to be working on. So for the
Yeah, yeah,
moment,
get on that.
bridge scene, and then in this scene we see the Kilkenny farmhouse. We see the Kilkenny. Hold up, let me go back to the OBS so I can see this Kilkenny. So that distance, in the distance, that's the barn
That's the barn, yeah,
and the windmill.
and the
Barn,
mill.
Kilkenny Mill. What's up on the
Oh
top
man,
of that hill?
that's just a watchtower.
Okay, so let me
And then
put
here's a broken bridge.
watchtower. Hold on, because I can't see
I
everything unless I'm tabbed out.
I I,
So,
I kind of thought about trying to like dilapidate this watchtower and make it look like an abandoned one since the bridge is broken. Like maybe this doesn't get used anymore.
hmm. So watchtower,
Um,
broken bridge, waterfall, bridge itself, transition to McPherson farm scene, transition to forest scene, right?
yep,
Which we don't
over there.
have yet.
Well, technically,
Oh, you're gonna go to the mill
technically,
next, aren't you?
technically the bridge. You'll cross the bridge and you're gonna come.
So transition to
Yeah, I
watermill.
don't
Hold
know.
up.
Something like this. Will be the scene there into more forest scenes. I assume that there'll be a quest giver here to give you quests to go into the besides the main one too.
Uh-huh.
Like
All right, so go
off of the.
back. Do we have the Kilkenny stuff already set up?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I don't have the camera angles exactly set, but I know where I'm gonna put them.
All right, so we're skipping the barn and we're going straight to.
Well, technically the next one will be like this.
So hold up.
The
Um,
next scene you come to will be like this. That way you can see the road. It'll be something like
transition to Kilkenny barn.
so-
So then we
something like that.
do Kilkenny barn scene.
That way you can tell that where you came from and where you're going.
So just need transition to Kilkenny mill scene. Okay, go to the
And what we
next
could do
scene.
what we can do is like give like a generic barn description, like the Kilkenny barn, and then when you get to this scene, I can do a different description on the door, so you could like click on that and it'd be like inside is where they store blah blah blah. If you want,
In
whatever.
in the barn scene,
Yeah, if
door
you wanted to
description to the barn.
have a separate barn description for just this scene,
I
if you
can
wanted,
totally do that. So,
we can do that. And then you could do well, whatever.
all right, now we're at the
Next,
Kilkenny mill scene.
which is gonna be something
Okay, there's
like
gonna be a whole bunch here. So let me write this. Kilkenny.
I figured this is a pretty happening place, because like they're gonna be shipping this, shipping out and bringing stuff in, all sorts of stuff. So
Haystacks. Can you just read some things off to me because that I'm not tabbing back and forth?
We've got stacks of hay. We've
Hmm.
got giant haystacks. We've got a wagon with loaded with hay. We've got another wagon loaded with uh, sacks of grain. We've got crates. We have more sacks. We've got a barn. We've got the mill itself.
Okay. I think
I'm
that's
ass-
enough, actually.
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we need an NPC here, even if it doesn't, just to
Yes.
make it look like people are doing things here.
So
You know,
this is the Kilkenny farm. We're gonna put Lauren Kilkenny, widow. That's where she's gonna be. Is right here. So we've got her as an NPC. That's bolded. Okay, double check this. Oh, so we got hay bales and hay stacks. Let me redo that description. Okay, that's enough for that, and then we need a transition to Kilkenny Barn, and then from here we have a transition to what? North, path north out of town.
hmm
Transition to path north. We can say forest path north. Okay, and then we go forest path north scene.
and here's where we're gonna have something at the end of the road that says you can't go any further.
Signpost, yeah.
Yeah, you're like danger.
Signpost.
Unless you ordered the expansion, you cannot travel past.
DLC, bitches. Signpost telling folks that further north is blocked off in this game. Check
Dangerous.
back
Yeah,
for the sequel.
yeah.
Or buy the tabletop where you can explore the entire world. All right, and then we have path to. Okay, so we need. Hold up, we need transition to Kilkenny Mill. Transition to Harry the Hermit abode. That's it here. Oh, and a forest. No, we don't need a forest description. We just need those two things. Okay, so then we have Harry the Hermit's scene.
Gonna be something like that. Which, not to toot my own horn, I think this thing turned out really cool.
It did turn out really cool. So I don't want Harry the Hermit outside. We're gonna have him inside. So we have
Oh, we've
plants
got
and
plants.
planters. We have the hut itself.
We've got
Door
mushroom
to the
beds.
hut. Wait, hold on. Door to the hut. Mushroom beds.
And I didn't put anything, because, like, I don't know a lot about this character yet. So, like, we could put things on his porch, because, like, the lighting's not been built yet. So, like, it's really dark under here, but that'll change once I build the lighting. And if I needed to, I could put porch lights on here. But, like, I assumed he'll have stuff on the porches,
Yes.
like under the roof that's not getting rained on. But, so, like, but I didn't know
Landscaped
what kind of
yard.
stuff.
I would
Yeah,
say you
yeah.
just put whatever you want here. He's an ex-druid in hiding, so
Yeah, right,
druidy
right.
stuff.
Druidy stuff. That's
He's
what I
not in
meant.
hiding per se, but he's no longer actively practicing because he doesn't want to get lynched by the church.
Yeah.
Oh, and I need to put a description for that big rock behind his.
We could we could totally have the scene be something like this that you can see that
I
big
would I
rock.
would pull that camera down a little bit because I want to say that that used to be a druid circle, but
Uh,
he's sort of done some landscaping to hide the fact that it used to be a druid circle.
Absolutely.
Um,
So we'll do the camera angle something like this so that you can see the three rocks. Yeah, that's so cool. A little happy accident, as old Bob Ross would say. Right? Wasn't that his name? Bob
okay.
Ross, the painter? Yeah.
Sparrow says alchemy garden.
Ooh.
We could totally put a garden on one side, or just add because he's got potted plants. Can we do a
Yeah.
garden? Do we have the assets to do a garden?
Well, we've got some stuff.
So maybe right here on this, you could just put plants. Yeah, right there, like in front of that fence. You
Yeah.
could put more plants. Let me put a garden description here.
Yeah, we could totally put a
Um,
garden there.
alchemy.
Cause I don't like these bushes I got in here anyways. Get rid of those.
Well, I don't want to write a description for the things on his porch until you have built the porch
Correct. Yeah.
stuff, and
I
then
don't I don't I have to take a look at what we got because we've got some crazy stuff that
we need to get some cat assets and some squirrel assets. And don't we have like a small animal pack or no?
no, we were gonna there's an animal pack I want to buy that's really good. It's got pigs because we could use some farm animal type
Oh, we
stuff. It's got
definitely. So
pigs,
that's long.
wolves, and
Okay,
yeah, long
that
term.
we'll look at that later because if we're gonna get an
That's
animal
that's when
pack,
people subscribe to the Patreon even more, and yeah.
yeah, hint hint, people, nudge nudge, wink wink. The Patreon covers asset purchases. Although right now we're spending it all on Nathan art and artwork from a soon to
Yeah,
be
that's
other
because
individual.
we're doing the tabletop stuff. I mean,
But once we've paid out our artists, we're switching back over to asset purchases because we got a few more
yeah,
things. Like we need the horses,
yeah.
we need the animal pack. I think
This
those are.
was this. I mean, this ate up a big chunk of our money right in the beginning because we bought all this asset packs and
Yeah,
oh
we
yeah,
spent several $100s on stuff. I think that's enough for Harry's scene.
and then we'll need an interior.
Right. Well, I haven't written any interiors down yet because we're only
True.
working on exteriors. So here's what I've gotten so far today. We've got sheriff scene, crossroads scene, stable scene, path north to town scene, town square scene, hunter's lodge scene, southeast to bridge scene, McPherson farm scene, bridge scene, Kilkenny barn scene, Kilkenny mill scene, forest path north scene, Harry the hermit scene. That's 13 exterior scenes. Sparrow says they need sparrows as well. Um, that means I have 13 exterior scenes that I need to write descriptions for and half a dozen NPCs within those scenes. These should be all. We're not done though because you're still going to have the watermill scene, and then we're going to have forest scenes as well. So we're going to end up
Yeah,
with
we're
probably
gonna have a scene here, and we'll have a scene here for sure, and then we've got a forest scene
we
here,
do
and then we've also got all of this that we can add stuff into if we need to
if
continue quest lines or
performance, yeah,
whatnot.
if performance isn't horrible at that point.
Yeah, it won't
Um,
be.
so at the
But
very
yeah,
least,
there's gonna be at least one, two, three, maybe four more exteriors. Just
just for
like
Marin's Rest before we get to the forest.
well, technically Marin's Rest is done, but the forests are part of the surrounding area. So
All right, well, you've given me 13 scenes, so I've got a huge chunk of stuff to start writing.
I don't
So
care what order you do them in,
I'm
just
just
whatever.
I'm gonna do them I'm gonna do them in the it'll go sheriff's scene to the crossroads scene to the stables. Then I'll come back and I'll go to the transition north, and then I'll go east, and then come
Then
back, and then I'll go north and east. So I'll
while we're doing all this, we got to think of the quest line flow too, because
that
technically the quest right now leaves you needing to go talk to Harry the Hermit, which is all the way over here.
which is a good thing. It means you're gonna go exploring to find Harry the Hermit. Um, and
Right.
then
Which means you're probably gonna pick up more stuff along the way. Yes.
you're going to find all these side quests, which are 100% optional, have nothing to do with the storyline, and it's just to do for lore purposes. Um, that'll be the thing. Like, if you only follow the main storyline, you might be able to finish this whole game in 2 to 3 hours. But if you do all of the side
It's
quests
no
and
different.
everything else,
It's no different than Quest for Glory. People do speed runs in like an hour and a half or something like that.
yeah, or you can play the whole game in 20 hours. So, um, because the sheriff is going to be side quests, the prisoner is going to be side quests, the shady dude in the side of the adventurers hall is going to be side quests, the church dude is going to be a side quest. Um, the main quest is to go to Harry the Hermit. Then you're going to come back and you're going to turn in. And when you turn in, when you come out of the bookstore, that's when we're going to have hopefully we can figure out how to spawn the adventurers by that point, because then we're going to have
Oh
the
yeah,
adventurers standing at the forge, and that's when you're going to start the next stage of the main quest, which is going to be, oh, you want to join the adventurers guild, young. Well, I'll tell you what. So instead of giving you the hat like in Indiana Jones, when the guy gives young Indiana Jones the hat, we're going to give him the coin that says, take this coin to the adventurers guild, and this will get you entry into the books, and then they'll give you your first quest. Then you're going to come back to the bookstore because you're going to go like, oh, I need to find a magical item. I bet there's the books, and you come back to the bookstore, and that's going to send you on the quest to go to the island. So, um,
absolutely.
at the very least, for now, we know that main questions to Harry. Then you're coming back to the bookstore. Then when you come out of the bookstore, the adventurers are going to be there. Then you're going to go to the Adventurers Guild, come back to the bookstore, and then you may need to pick up a couple things in the forest before you go to the boat and then across to the island. But then we have all the other side quests. So sweet. I think that's all we need to do today, and we're 15 minutes clear for your schedule for Faith's meeting. So, all right,
Sweet.
folks. That is the next stage of development for the point and click game that we're building called An Adventurer's Tale. So, the month of May, um, we are launching our tabletop books June 1st. So, the month of May for me is going to be spent doing final polish and adding the rest of the tables and artwork to the tabletop books to get them ready for publication, as well as now working on everything we just covered today. As you saw, we have 13 exterior scenes that I now have to go out and write content around. I'm not doing quest content right now. What I'm doing is the description for all the things that we mentioned. I need descriptions for the NPCs. I need descriptions for signposts. I need descriptions for tooltips. I need descriptions for buildings and doors and wagons and hay bales and potted plants and all of these different things. That all has to be put down into a document that I can then give to Joey so that he can take that and pull from to populate the tooltip and description scenes and also the click throughs so that when you click on an object, you get a dialogue that pops up and that gives you a description text for that, and then you can click through that dialogue window to go through. That's what I'm working on now. After this will be the next stage of the writing, which is the actual quest writing. Um, by the way, I have enough right now. I can actually write all of the side quests for these NPCs. But the next stage after this, once I'm done with scene descriptions and side quests and all that other stuff, I can then work on the main quest dialogue for Harry the Hermit, and then the quest line for that. It's a dwarven light source, a dwarven light stone. Um, Finishing that quest up. But once you have that completed, you're going to then get the token to join the Adventurers Guild. That's going to send you on a different quest to get a magical item to prove that you're an adventurer. And yeah, we're gonna have to we're gonna have to find a dragon asset at some
I found
point.
I found a dragon skeleton
Oh, then we're good. We're
from
good.
the same guy that does the horse assets and the
Oh, perfect.
NPCs that
So,
we have. Yeah,
because we,
yeah,
we
oh yeah.
we said we were going to end the game when he pulls the sword from the dragon's corpse. He's going to stand up and raise the sword like he does in, he pulls the sword from the stone, and he's going to have. I can't do it because my camera's not high enough, but he's going to pull the sword out, raise the sword up in the air, and that's literally going to be the closing shot of the game. Is like, "Fung! You found the magic sword. You're now a hero." And then the sequel can pick up after he's been on the road for a couple of years and has an adventuring party with him, and that's the co-op game that comes next. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Um, but that end scene, I've had that in my mind ever since our first brainstorming session. He's gonna pull that sword from the dragon's corpse, raise it up in the air, and then there's gonna be a flash of light, and then we're gonna freeze frame. Yeah, and then it's gonna be a freeze frame, and we're gonna roll credits, and yeah, it's gonna be good.
I was gonna say you've done a playthrough on our YouTube, right? Like there's a video of our
I
demo.
did I did a Easter egg playthrough, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because like if people don't understand like what you mean by tooltips and scene description and everything like that, if they don't want to download the demo for whatever reason, they could go check that out.
Yes, that is on YouTube, so you can watch that at your leisure. So, those of you who watched Twitch today, thanks so much for tuning into the live stream. This will be up on YouTube later this week. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, all those good things. And here's the big kicker. Go to Patreon. You can pre-order the game today, and if you're a subscriber, you get access to alpha and beta testing. So if you want to come help us test the game, our first alpha tester is the 6-year-old um, Joey's son, my nephew. He's our first tester. Chris is our
He's
second tester.
he's pretty rigorous. Yes.
He is pretty rigorous. He
Oh,
finds he finds lots of bugs, and Chris is our second alpha tester. We've got additional patrons who are alpha and beta testers. So if you'd like to become an alpha or beta tester and you just want to help out, you can pre-order the game today over at Wandering Hermits Patreon. It's patreon.com/Wandering Hermits. You can play the demo for free before you pre-order. So make sure to download that demo. It's on the Patreon page. Join the newsletter. You'll get an automatic. Just follow all the instructions for signing up to the newsletter. You will eventually get a link sent to you with the downloadable, which gives you a map of Marin's Rest, a PDF. Adventure Games for Dummies is the name of the PDF. And then, of course, the actual demo to play through the first section of An Adventurer's Tale set in the world of the Weave and the Void. So you can go pre-order all that stuff. There's also tiers if you want to pre-order the books for the tabletop adventuring. Those come out June 1st. If you pre-order and subscribe through the Patreon, you get access to map packs and some other cool stuff. Concept art posts. We do 3 updates a week on the Patreon page. Then, of course, there's also the book chapters, which come out twice a month on Thursdays. That's at the base tier of $3 a month. So you can check out all that stuff. Patreon.com/Wandering Hermits. And don't forget, we are on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Central. We are in the process of starting to ramp up towards the launch of the live streamed campaign of the Weave and Void campaign for the 5th edition world in which this adventure game is set. It's that world behind us. We had our first prep session this past Sunday night with those of us who are Wandering Hermits, myself, Joey, and Chris, along with Bounty, Sparrow, Simmerg, and Nathan Napalm. We're going to be doing a few more weeks of preparation. We're going to be starting the live stream of that campaign on June 5th on Twitch, so make sure to follow along there, subscribe on Twitch, all those good things. Stay tuned for all that stuff. And of course, while we do have the digital books coming out June 1st, we do have a Kickstarter coming later this year for the hardback versions of the tabletop books. And that's going to be, I think, mid-July is the current scheduled timeline for that. The product's already launched by that point. It'll be 6 weeks out, and we're just doing it to cover print costs for those people who want the print versions. And there will be some special perks for Kickstarter patrons as well. So, but the big thing is go over to patreon.com/Wandering Hermits, pick up a subscription. There's various tiers. Pre-order the adventure game if you liked what you saw today. You also get access to a special patron-only section of Discord where we share screenshots and sneak peek previews of stuff that no one else gets access to. Plus, there's the 3 times weekly updates that we do over on our Patreon page for different levels and tiers for the tabletop, the books, concept art, map packs, the adventure game, all that other stuff. I think that's it for today. So stay tuned, everybody. Joey's got some. As soon as I give him all these scene descriptions, he's going to be working on the next set of Dev Diary videos, which I think we've done 5 episodes so far on YouTube of how to build an adventure game how to build a point-and-click adventure game in Unreal. There's 5 episodes already of that up on YouTube, and we're going to be adding more episodes now that we're adding scene descriptions and dialogue and everything else to the game. So stay tuned to that stuff as well. See everybody next time. Links are down below.